This video is designed to help you, the candidate, your treasurer, and other members of your campaign staff understand and comply with the Federal Election Campaign Act and Federal Election Commission regulations. The Federal Election Commission reviews the campaign finance reports required of every congressional candidate. Your principal campaign committee treasurer is responsible for filing these reports.
A letter from the FEC.
If an error is discovered, we'll notify you. An amended report usually takes care of the problem, but occasionally the Commission finds something that signals a possible violation of the law. If this happens, the Commission might initiate a compliance action that could involve an investigation, or worse, if the issue can't be resolved informally. And remember, the FEC is only one of several watchdogs. Everyone has access to your campaign finance reports. Your opponent will be on the trail of any infractions. And reporters will be sniffing around for a good story.
Aha! Ay, why me?
The way to avoid problems is to use the campaign guide for congressional candidates and committees, and the Commission's hotline.
Stephanie!
Oh dear, I thought...
The candidate and the campaign staff should have a basic understanding of the law, but your treasurer must understand it completely.
Why me?
Your treasurer is responsible for complying with the federal election law. In fact, a political committee cannot conduct financial activity without a treasurer. Your treasurer must file the committee's registration form, deposit receipts, authorize expenditures, monitor contributions, keep records, sign all reports and statements, and file all reports on time.
Do I have to do everything?
Committee support staff, volunteers, and professional consultants may actually perform the duties, but your treasurer is responsible for them. Here are some important points to remember. Checks must be deposited within 10 days. Every transaction has to be recorded.
Oh, how nice. $55 from Wilma Worth on January 6th.
And reports must be filed on time. In addition to these disclosure requirements, the Federal Election Campaign Act places monetary limits on contributions. These limits restrict how much the donor can give and how much the campaign can accept.
Whoa! Sam, you can't accept that much. And Miss Highsmith, you can't give Sam that much.
Here are the essential limits to remember. An individual may contribute up to $1,000 to a candidate per election.
My son, the congressman.
Oh boy. I love you, Mom, but to the FEC you're just another contributor.
Your family members, even your spouse and your parents, are subject to the same limits as everyone else. But there's no limit on how much you, the candidate, can contribute from your personal funds.
Sam, I knew you'd want these. Consider them a contribution from your old buddy Pete. Sorry, Pete, but you already gave me a check for $1,000.
Sam's right. Goods and services are also contributions, and they're subject to the same limits.
Well then, I'll just lend you the money and you can pay for them.
A loan, too, is a contribution. You cannot accept a loan that exceeds the contributor's limit. Most political committees are also limited to $1,000 per candidate per election. But there is an exception. A multi-candidate committee may contribute up to $5,000 to each candidate per election. A multi-candidate committee has more than 50 contributors, has been registered for more than 6 months, and supports at least 5 federal candidates.
$5,000?
Uh-oh.
Are you qualified as a multi-candidate committee?
Yep.
Whew. It's the campaign's responsibility to find out whether a contributor is qualified as a multi-candidate committee. If you're not sure, call the FEC. The last point to remember is that you can't accept any contributions from certain prohibited sources. You can't accept a contribution from foreign nationals. You can't accept contributions from one person in the name of another.
Nice try, Mom, but you can't give money in Fifi's name either.
You can't accept contributions from government contractors. And you can't accept contributions from a labor organization, a national bank, or any type of corporation directly or indirectly.
Our club has a $250 check for you.
If a group is not registered as a political committee with the FEC, your treasurer must check to make sure that none of the money originally came from a prohibited source.
Thank you. You don't accept contributions from labor or corporate organizations, do you?
No. Well, then, we accept with pleasure.
Remember, your committee is responsible for knowing whether or not a contribution is legal. If your contributor is not a political committee, check with the contributing group and consult your campaign guide.
This contribution from Hilda Highsmith is written on a Highsmith Corporation check. I don't think...
You can't accept a corporate check, even if it's signed by the owner of the corporation. If Ms. Highsmith wants to contribute, she'll have to write you a check drawn on a personal account or contribute through her corporation's PAC.
Her corporation's what?
PAC. PACs are political committees. One familiar kind of PAC is a separate, segregated fund set up by a corporation or labor organization. A PAC is funded by voluntary contributions from employees or shareholders of the corporation, or from members of the labor organization. Even though corporations and unions can't contribute to your campaign, their PACs can.
I think I understand PACs, but I'm not sure I understand everything you've told me.
Well, the way to avoid problems is to use the campaign guide and the FEC hotline. And remember, every transaction must be recorded. Reports must be filed on time. There are strict limits on how much a donor can give and how much the campaign can accept. You cannot accept contributions from certain individuals and organizations. And most importantly, remember that your committee and your campaign treasurer are responsible for knowing whether a contribution is legal or not.
We'll do our best.
For more information, write the Federal Election Commission, Washington, D.C., 20463, or call the FEC hotline at 1-800-424-9530.